Good evening, ladies and gentle germs. Welcome to the Nashville Masterclass. I am your host, James Better Looking Than You May. And today we are going to discuss Kratom, Mitragina speciosa. It's a plant that is native to Southeast Asia. It is related to coffee. Is actually, a lot of people think it's a bush or a vine, but it's actually a tree. It grows pretty high. Now, in Indonesia, kratom is scheduled and handled just like heroin and cocaine, unlike the United States, where federally it's legal, but from state to state it may or may not be illegal. Now, the big question at hand is, are you going to like and subscribe? Why do I have to keep going over this? I mean, when I say I'm going to hit you in the mouth if you don't like and subscribe, I mean it. I'll do it. No, the big question is it safer to use than opiates? At small doses, it seems to act as a stimulant, and most natives to the country chew the leaves as stimulants. But in higher doses, it causes opium-like euphoria and sedation. Now, in the United States, there has been a huge surge over the years of people using kratom and getting off opiates with it. But here's the thing, and when I do a video, anything that comes out of my mouth on these videos are facts. I don't have any moral obligation, either way. I don't have moral stances on drugs because, like I said, no drug is inherently evil. It's all in how you use or abuse it. But let's look here. So many people, I've heard this so many times, that somebody knows somebody or somebody themselves got off heroin, and they're like, it got me off heroin, it got him off heroin, he's off heroin, and he's on this. And for some reason, people think this is so much better. Kratom causes addiction and withdrawals just the same as an opiate. The chemical itself doesn't really matter because it acts the same. It goes to the same receptors and acts exactly the same way. This rhetoric of it's natural, so therefore it's better, is not true, because think of it, opium is natural. It's a plant that comes from the ground. Now, my friend Paul, he takes kratom, and what he said to me is, yeah, it might cause addiction, it might cause withdrawal, but I'd rather be on this natural stuff than all those chemicals, they would prescribe you from a doctor, you would get from a pharmacy. Well, on the surface, that sounds correct, right? Homeopathic remedies. But here's the thing, that's actually the opposite of reality. Because the chemicals, medicines you would get from a pharmacy are regulated by the DEA and the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. Kratom itself is not regulated at all, right? When you get a pill prescribed, when you get a pill from the pharmacy, you know exactly what's in there. You know what the inactive ingredients. You know exactly how much, the milligram or microgram of the active ingredient is in there. With Kratom, you have no idea. 2 grams are not equal with Kratom, right? You get 2 grams from the same bunch, and one has more mitragynine than the other. And that causes all sorts of problems. You can definitely overdose on Kratom. When you overdose, Narcan works just like an opiate, and that should tell you a lot right there. So when people go from, heroin to Kratom and say it saved their lives, the only reason it's doing good is because now you're not having to meet a drug dealer. You're not having to pay all of these prices. You don't have to make the choice between eating and doing your drug anymore, right? You don't have to sneak around. You can buy a lot of it and take it home. But here's the question I give you. What are you going to do when it becomes legal? Because it most definitely will, the way things are going. And this goes back to what I said before on everything. If you made drugs legal where you can go buy them, then all these side effects, robbing, stealing, being homeless, not having, all this goes away. But let's say they made Kratom illegal tonight. Then what are you going to do then? Most people say, well, I guess it just come off. No, you didn't just come off heroin. You had to go to something else. And it's going to cause withdrawal. And people say, oh, it's not as severe. Yeah, it is. It's a horrible withdrawal. It really is. So, like I said, I have no moral standpoint on it, but these are the facts. You're going from one substance to the other. And I understand people say, well, that's what happens with methadone or Suboxone. But again, those are all regulated and used in a different way. Those drugs are about recovery, and most doctors want you have to be clean. You have to, take your analysis. With Kratom, you are just trading one drug for the other. And Kratom gets you high. That's all there is to it. Methadone and Suboxone, most people don't get high from them. What is going on is it's keeping them from craving drugs and keeping them from taking, because it blocks all other drugs out. With Kratom, all bets are off. You can do anything, and there's really no difference. The only difference between, taking opiates or taking Kratom is that you don't have to spend so much money. You don't have to do illegal things to get it. If Kratom became illegal, it would be just like you're on heroin again. You would stop having money for anything. You wouldn't be able to eat. You wouldn't be able to afford. You have to start lying. You have to start stealing. So Kratom in itself is not safer than opiates per se. It's safer in that you're not injecting it or storing it, because you can't really get the isolated active ingredient, and you can't get that like you can with opiates. No one's going around smoking opium because you don't get it in the raw. But these are just the facts. I don't personally care what someone does. If you are taking Kratom and you're doing fine with it, I'm not here to tell you stop, you're doing something wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But that's just the facts. It's not better than opiates. Anybody that's been taking it for a while is going to argue with me, because addicts always kind of play down what's going on with their addiction. Oh, this one's not as bad. This one doesn't, make me high like the other. This one did. No, I know Kratom. I know it perfectly well. You get high off of it, and that's why you're taking it. People will, are taking grams of this, and you have no idea how much is in there. And Kratom can cause you to just become so weak. You never know this is going to happen. You're just laying there. You can't even lift your head up. It was a very scary feeling. And weirdly enough, when I was on fentanyl, I would get sick and try to take Kratom, and the Kratom would amplify the sickness, just like if you took a Suboxone. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it really happened. It happened every single time. I'm not saying it's going to happen with you. But, just saying, fact-wise, it's not better than an opiate. It's not worse. It's not better. You are not free of addiction because you moved to Kratom. Now you're just addicted to Kratom. And since Kratom acts the exact same way, it's all it is saying, well, I stopped shooting heroin and now I'm smoking opium. So, you're not, if it makes your life better where you can afford things, that's fine. But I'm just saying that as a substance, it's not better than opiates. You are not free of addiction. You are not, as far as addiction wise, you're not doing any better. I mean, your life may be better in how you do things, but you're still going to have to deal with this. If it was taken away or were put in jail, you're going to withdraw, and it's going to hurt. And there are so many people in Southeast Asia. You get put in prison just like if you had heroin, if you're caught with Kratom. So, and the way the United States is going right now, I can see that becoming illegal soon. This channel that I'm doing really means a lot right now in the face of the way America is going. Because if I'm not trying to make a hero out of me. I'm not. But if there's not people like me doing stuff like this, then I can promise you that people are going to push lawmakers to make way worse laws that they're going to say is to help addicts, but it's not. It's for their own revenge. It's because they don't like looking at addicts or homeless people. They still regard you as the lowest of the low, and they are going to try to arrest their way out of it, which they'll never do. And things can get bad really quick. If there's not people like me and you fighting against this, if we don't have our voices heard, then they're going to run roughshod all over us. And that's why I really care about how big my channel is. I don't need to be walking down the street and signing autographs. That's not what this is about. I need as many people as I can to hear this, and as many people as I can behind me to fight things like this. I'll go to Congress. I'll go to Congress and testify anytime. I look really sharp in a suit too. But I'm not going to sit down and watch my culture of my people, the homeless, the addicted, the traumatized, the downtrodden, the ones people always say they're out to help, but they're not. We're going to make a YouTube channel and go out and interview people on the streets. Even though I've never been addicted, I'm not going to really help them. I'm just going to say I'm raising awareness and then go home and rack up the likes. I'm not going to stand for it. I don't have to be happy about it, and I'm not going to put up with people doing that. You have no business doing that to us. And I can see Kratom becoming something that's going to be vilified. It already is, but it's going to be one of the next things that they go after. So keep that in mind. I would make a game plan in my head of what to do if they make it illegal, and it may be legal where you live already. That's really all I had to say on the subject. Kelly asked me to do this, so I am doing this. If there's anything more you guys need to know, just ask in the comments. You know I will take care of it, whatever it is. All right, guys. Later.